This scene is from my novel With the Right Enemies. It's my fourth book. Volmer's a teenager who's grown up on the streets and has begun to establish himself for a local gangster, Rico. Volmer is ordered to prove he has what it takes by killing his friend, Chili. Volmer doesn't live in Oakland, but he kills Chili there. The scene starts shortly after the murder. Volmer turned the car around, headed back home. He needed something new, something he couldn't have. He'd go home for whatever it was. Nothing could put him in Oakland tonight. This was fucked up. He liked Chili. Enrico could have got anyone to take him out. He chose Volmer because Volmer knew Chili, not because that made it easy to set up the hit. It was a test to see if he'd kill a friend, to see if he'd do whatever they wanted. He passed so long as he got away clean. That's what he was doing now. He rolled down the front windows, needed air. Part of him felt good. Killing was a rush. He wanted to burst or stop breathing altogether. The freeway would be better. Home would be better. He reached the 880 and let the engine out a little, but he couldn't go as fast as he wanted, couldn't get a ticket. Evidence of Chili in his car meant nothing. Chili had been in his car before. So long as nothing put him near the murder, couldn't put himself anywhere but home tonight. He drove toward home, but what did home mean? A safe place to sleep? He couldn't sleep. He needed more than that. And he wasn't a drugs and booze guy. A drink might be all right, even two to level him out, but he couldn't wind down much that way. Hell, he wanted to celebrate. He got off 17, checked the gas. Plenty for local driving. He hit those old streets where the girl he'd loved used to hang, the ones where the whores ran. It was early, but they were out. 3 streets she might be on, the same few blocks of each. Drove down one, then up the next. He knew what she was like now, her beauty faded by too many needles. Still, the best he could do. He just wanted to bawl her brains out. Her or someone better, but he didn't know no one better. After an hour, he pulled over. The passenger side window was already down. Get in. The skinny black girl leaned through the open window. Hey, baby. Volmer looked at her. Get in. This ain't fast or cheap. He looked like that would make everything lower key, but the whore recoiled. Rough day, he said. I need some time. You get paid. She sat next to him with a big smile. I'm Alicia. Chili was his first hit, but wasn't the first man he'd killed, wouldn't be the last. But Volmer never killed a friend before. He didn't smile back at the whore, just pulled his car into the street and headed to his place. They got there without a word. I don't talk much, he said, and unlocked the car doors. Nothing against you. He looked her up and down. I like you. She smiled again. We don't gotta talk unless you want. He walked her inside. Her skin looked soft, but he didn't touch it yet. She was a stranger. He wanted everything new when they fucked. He led her to the bed. Pay before play, she said. He unsnapped the top button of his jeans, reached into a pocket and pulled out a fistful of bills, peeled off 520s and handed them to her. Do this good enough, he said. There's more when we're done. Don't even think about ripping me off. I earned that shit. We good. She walked to the bed and stopped. You want me naked anyway special? Take it off. The clothes came off just slow enough, a beautiful display. Her small breasts were pert, shapely, a lean but strong-looking abdomen beneath. Her bare skin a rich brown color, something that had to be touched with both hands and tongue. He'd seen most of the legs already, didn't need to look at her feet or pussy. She looked damn good naked, just a little thin. On the bed, he said, on your belly. She lay down, her head turned back as he squatted over her. His knees straddled her ass cheeks. He leaned to his left, opened the bedside table drawer, grabbed an already cut length of rope, and quickly tied her hands behind her back. Hey! Volmer didn't answer, just pushed down hard on her upper back with one hand, immobilizing her as the other hand ran up and down her thighs, squeezing the fleshiest pieces, then moved up to her ass and did the same. Let me up! He stopped pressing down and rubbed both palms along her back, then reached around to feel her tits and belly with one hand, covered her mouth with the other. His pants were off and a rubber on as he clung to one breast and fucked her. She didn't have to be scared, but he knew why she was, and he wasn't stopping. He fucked her and fucked her and fucked her, and too bad she was scared. He didn't make her that way. The rope stayed on, but she was a whore, and that's what he was paying for. He thought he'd come any second right from when they started, but it went on, and he let go of her back, turned her head so he could look at her face as he slammed into her ass over and over. This was all he wanted and everything he was getting away from. No more killing friends, only fucking strangers. He came suddenly and let go of her head as he collapsed onto her back, exhausted, but only for a minute. He rolled off her onto his back, reached into the bedside table's open drawer, pulled out a knife. The whore screamed.